Happy Wednesday, Seaside. How's everybody? We're over here. You're gonna have to turn your heads a little bit. Hey, we're Mo Jackson tonight. We're actually usually Mojo Jackson, but Joe is in Vermont, so it's just Mo Jackson. This first song that we're gonna open up the service with is called "Down, Down, Down," and we hope it helps you get grounded. again this morning, and I felt so truly grateful. I'm giving up the hateful things inside. I listen to this heart of mine and take the time to write things down, down, down. The music in my mouth is like an ever-flowing ocean, dancing to the ocean sound. Still I'm trying to hear the memory, I'm trying to find the time and slow it down, down, down. But there are voices from the grave, they are telling me I'm not to be a slave of my parade. I lay them down, down, down. I lay them down, down, down. There are voices from the grave, they are telling me I'm not to be afraid of my brain. I lay them down, down, down. Lay them down, down, down. Still I'm trying to hear memory, I'm trying to find the time and slow it down, down, down.
Mo Jackson, give them a big hand. Thank you. TJ Moss and Jackson Price, thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken. Welcome to the Going Within Gathering. So we come together on a Wednesday evening in the middle of the week just to remember the power and the presence of God as our life and to tap into the field of infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality. For this is a very special evening. We have a ministerial student, Kimjera Whittington, who's going to be the speaker this evening. And we also have another ministerial student, Rebecca V., who is our practitioner. I am a sandwich of consciousness, of great consciousness. So, so as you know, this is a candle lighting service, and I'm going to invite you to come forward and to light your candle and set your intention to open your heart and your mind and soul to hear the message this evening and allow it to move you in your life as our guest gives us their gifts.
Story about a man on a mission. I heard a story about a boy who just keeps a wishing. I heard a story about a lady with a baby in a manger. Tell you right now something, I heard nothing stranger. heaven's on the ground, would you say you're here too? Would you say you're here too? Story about a lead dog sniffing out trails and never getting caught. I heard a little story about a people in a foreign land, and every time I hear it, I know a little bit more about just who I am. Listening for a sound that it's foolproof. Music's all around. Would you say you're here too? Would you say you're here too? Everything's profound when you hold it near you. Love is all around. Would you say you're here too? Would you say you're here too? I heard a little story about a man on a mission. I heard a little story about a boy who just keeps a wishing.
Oh, TJ Moss, Joe Jackson, or Jackson Price. So this is the time of our service where we go within and we practice the silence together. So I invite you to close your eyes and just breathe in and give a sigh. Ah. And drop into your heart space. One more. Ah. And drop into that heart space. And so I invite you to go within and to surrender anything that is moving your mind from the outside world, and just allow that to move to the side, knowing that Spirit will take care of that and it'll be there for you when you come back. And to think of something in your life that you truly love, something that brings you so much joy and so much love in your life. Move into your heart space. The path of the heart is the eye of love, the eye of joy. As you continue to breathe in and out of your heart space, carry that feeling of love, that feeling of joy, and allow that to permeate throughout your whole body. And as we continue into the silence together, allow this feeling to move into the sanctuary as we practice the presence together.
Now I ask you to join me in prayer. I know there's one source of good in the universe, and that source is God. Timeless, changeless, and ever-present. God and I are one. God is my only source. All God has is mine. I know that we are doubly blessed tonight, so we gather together in this sacred place and receive the prayers of Reverend Lori and the message from Kimjera. I know that lives are changed and hearts are opened wider. I know that we are reminded of who we are. Our divinity shines forth as we bring these new truths into our everyday lives. And I am grateful for the opportunity to gather together and receive these many blessings. And so it is. Amen. Good evening. I'm Rebecca Venkatraman. I'm the head of Compassionate Care here at Seaside. I'm a practitioner and a ministerial student. And Bob Greer is the other practitioner tonight holding the light. And I want to remind you that we love to pray. So if you have something on your heart, we'll be right outside the doors here after service, and we'd love to pray with you. Tonight, we're going to be reading from Dr. Christian's Joyous Abundance Journal. And I'd like to start with the quote, "I lift my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good." John Randolph Price. God is the source of everything. It is also what everything is made out of. Therefore, money is simply God in form that we can see, a way of making God's action of abundance visible. Everything we need to prosper our business is present. We focus on the service we provide or the activity we do with as much good intention and effort as we can. We know that our business is the activity of the divine mind moving in the world. We realize that neither the customer, nor the economy, nor the government is the source of our good, nor the hindrance to our success. In the downturn of 2008 and 2009, I worked with business owners who were seeing their markets dry up and their fellow competitors close their doors. We didn't focus on the problems and issues. We focused on the fact that Spirit is the source of all good. We spent time knowing that the universal law always responds to the intention of success, sound business practice, and a willingness to stay positively focused. We declared that the business would survive and ultimately thrive. In every case, it was so. So the spiritual contemplation for tonight is, what or whom are you making the source of your success other than Spirit? Who do you think has more power than the universal power and presence, the source of all? And the affirmation is, I let go of seeking for the source of abundance and success anywhere other than in spiritual truth and reality. I use the universal principles and laws for the benefits of my business and life.
Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca stepped in for Trudy this evening, so I'm grateful that you were able to do that the last minute. Do you remember this year in February, we had all the ministerial students here, and they all spoke a little 5 minutes, and this is when Rebecca spoke and Kimjera spoke, and I remember myself and Christian that we were just wowed by Kimjera. She just had this natural flow about her, and he had asked her to come work for Seaside. So now she is in charge of the education department here at Seaside, coming from the Temecula Church. So not only do they live in Temecula, but they also have a condo here in Encinitas, and she brings with her a beautiful family, a husband for 23 years, and 3 children from the ages of 9 to 16. And we're really excited about Kimjera here at Seaside. She's also an executive sales manager in corporate America. And on top of that, she's a ministerial student at the Holmes Institute. And I'm sure Christian gives her a long list of things to do here at Seaside. And when she graduates next year, there will be a letter of call waiting for her here at Seaside. So I'm excited that she'll be speaking this evening. And let's give her a warm welcome, Kimjera Whittington.
Thank you. Thank you. That was so lovely. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. And this is my home. This is my, you guys are my beloveds. And if I could give you guys a big warm hug right now, each and every one of you, I would. So thank you for coming out tonight. What I wanted to start with was just to kind of give you a little bit of a background on, Lori mentioned we just bought a condo here in Encinitas. And so it was about a couple weeks ago, I think it was around Father's Day weekend, my son Braxton and I were by ourselves in the condo, and we woke up early in the morning. And when we woke up, we were like, what are we going to do? And we played a little Roomy Cube. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that game, but that's like one of my favorite games now. So we played that, and we were hanging out, and eventually, we woke up early, so we're like, let's just go cruise. Let's go cruise and check out and see what the beach looks like. And so we went on a walk and a little excursion, and I could see outside that the fog was there. It was definitely June gloom happening. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so we bundled up and we went, and we got to the edge of D Street, where when you're heading down to Moonlight Beach from D Street right there, there's like some stairs, and we kind of got to the edge and we were stopping, and it was misty out. I mean, it was definitely had a little bit of raining happening, and I just felt this like energy come through me. And as I was looking over at the ocean, I got this like Henry David Thoreau quote in me, and it was, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. And when that touched me, and I just felt that, and I was looking out there, and I could see the fog happening, and I thought, why? Why are we constantly leading this life where we're trying so desperately to get in touch with something that is already here and within? You just heard Rebecca do an amazing description from Joyce Abundance about how the source of all the good is already within. So that's my talk title today. It's Catching the Wave, and what is the source, or what is your source? And again, we already know that we know the answer already. The source is God within, but I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey here to get there with me. So along with that initial conversation, I sat down and just pondered to myself as we walked down to the beach and then we hung out on the rocks, and I said, why does that have to be? And I think I came up with a couple different reasons, and the first was control, right? When we feel this desire to have the control over our lives, that's when we take away that infinite source that we know is ultimately there, right? And why? Why do we want control of our lives? Well, if you're like me at all, it's safe a lot of times to feel like you've got the control, right? You feel like, it's a false sense of safety. It's a false sense of security. It's not really the truth, but you feel it inside, and you're like, okay, I can make this happen. My family will tell you that is totally me. If I get an idea in my head, I'm like, I am on that. I will make it happen. We will figure it out. And I don't know if anyone else does that, but the truth is, it kind of can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a lot sometimes. And so I think that feeling of wanting to be safe and that false sense of that is one piece of it. I think another piece of it is instant gratification. And again, I'm an instant gratification kind of girl. I just described that, right? Like when I want something, I want it now. When I'm hungry, my family will tell you I am the crankiest person on the planet until you put food in me. I am, and I own it, because I am such, when I want it now. And so, when you think of a child even, that's like the perfect place. And again, I'm going to use my son Braxton. He doesn't know he's like all through my talk today, but he likes it. But him and I, so again, Encinitas, new condo, right? So we're exploring, we're figuring stuff out, and there's this ice cream shop called Handles, and I'm sure you guys have all been there before, but if you haven't, I'm not even joking, you have to go there. It is so good. No? Don't like it? Oh, no. She's shaking her head going, Okay, well, I have to say for my family, they are huge fans of it. They make homemade ice cream. And so, I was talking to Braxton the other day, and I was like, okay, let's go get some ice cream. That's what we're going to do. And when you think of a child with instant gratification, I mean, literally, Braxton goes, like he spazzed out. It's that kid spaz, right? That inner child where he's like, okay, let's go do it. And then, of course, he comes up to me and gives me a big hug, and he's like, you are the best mom ever. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome. I am the best mom ever, only because I'm going to give you ice cream, but I'll take it. So then it starts, right? So we're on this path, and it's totally exciting, and I'm the best mom ever, and then it starts. So when are we going? Are we going now? Are you ready? No, I need to change first. Okay, did you change? Are you good? Are we ready? We're going to go now, because I really want it now. Let's go. You ready? And I'm like, okay, this is totally the child within us that wants what we want now. And so I think those two things combined, a lot of times are why we're sitting in this state within ourselves of desperately wanting to have something show up in our lives, and yet really the answer is it's already there. We just can't see it yet. There's a story of a trooper in Ohio that he had pulled over a gentleman, and his name was Trooper J. Davis, and he pulled over Mark Ross, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And when he pulled him over, he had no idea that Mark Ross was speeding. Yes, he was speeding, but he was speeding because he had received a call a little bit earlier in the evening from his mom saying his sister had been killed in a car accident. And when that happened, he knew he had to get there, and he didn't care, and he was rushing to get there. And so as he was going, he got pulled over, and right at the moment that he got pulled over, he sat in the car, and he put his head down, and he knew. He had a warrant out for his arrest. And so he knew the minute they ran his license that he was going to go to jail. He just knew it. So the trooper comes over and does his thing and says, yes, I have to call, and I've got to, call Wayne County, and I've got to figure this out. Well, on a good note, Wayne County decided, you know what, you're too far right now. You're like 3 or 4 counties over, and we don't have people to send out there, so we're going to tow the car, so we're going to send a truck to come tow the car, but you need to report, on these dates or whatever, and gave him. So luckily, he didn't actually have to go to jail that night. But when he was telling the story to the trooper, and he said, now I'm not going to have a car, and I don't know what to do, and this is what happened with my sister, and I'm just trying to get to my mom. Trooper Davis sat there and thought for a second, and his instant reaction was to sit with him and pray. And that's what he did. So together they prayed. That was the first place he went. And then he said, during that prayer, he got an idea within him that, you know what? He needed to drive him to Detroit. He absolutely had to get in the car and take him there. So 100 miles he went and he drove him there. Now, I tell you this story because there is no way that Mark Ross or Trooper Davis could have ever anticipated this night happening the way that it did, right? It was so much bigger than both of them. Trooper Davis was the perfect person to pull him over. And Mark Ross could not have had a better experience with them not wanting to come and take him to prison because he was able to get to his family where he needed to be. And so that's where I see that when we step out of the way, right, and we let go of the control and the need to make things happen and that sense of instant gratification, what ultimately ends up showing up is something so much more beautiful than you ever could have even imagined. You couldn't even have thought that up, right? So Ernest Holmes, let me do my little handy-dandy thing. I missed the first quote, but that's okay. We're going to go right through that, baby. Oh, hold on. So this is me trying to figure out technology for the first time upstage. You're going to go with me. Okay. So Ernest Holmes says, I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am, that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power. And it's always right where I am. See, that's the piece that I love so much, is it is always right where I am. The second reason that I think that sometimes we are living these lives of quiet desperation is because we are looking outside of ourselves. And I think that's what Ernest is saying here is, don't look outside yourself, right? And when we look outside of ourselves to be fulfilled, it never, ever ends up working out the way that we want. Because ultimately, there's nothing out here that could ever support us and show us exactly what we need to see or the direction we need to go, even though we think that it might. And yet, that's not to say that that's not an actual reality for us. That's not to say that we're not experiencing that. See, I'm the first person to tell you that I believe that we are human having a human experience. So I'm not going to stand up here and say, no, what you're experiencing in your life isn't true. Because it is true, right? It's your reality. It might not be true with a capital T, right? But it still is your reality in this moment. And so when I think of like even, you look in the bank account, if there isn't the money there that you need, if your child needs something for school and you can't afford it, or if you want that beautiful relationship and quite frankly, it just hasn't happened yet and you're sad and there's a bit of loneliness there, that's all real and true, right? If your health isn't at the level of vibrancy that you want it to be, that's not just an appearance of something, that you're experiencing that. But again, it's not true with a capital T, because there is something greater than the experience that we are actually having. So I wanted to tell you a little story about myself and my family. I loved the book talking about 2008 because that actually is the time that my story takes place. But just to keep it brief, again, I want you to understand that I get the reality here. I'm not someone who's going to stand up here and say everything's rosy, because that's not who we are, right? We're all experiencing things, and I want you to see me and get to know me so that you can see that what I say, I truly know to be the truth for me. And in 2008, we had a situation where we owned a bunch of real estate properties, and during that time, obviously, no one expected the market to do what the market did, right? And so we had an option. We could refinance these properties that were out of state, or we could pay them off, and it was $1 million. So you can imagine which option that I was going for during that time. We didn't have $1 million sitting around, so I wanted to refinance them, and unfortunately we couldn't because nobody was giving loans at that time. And so it was one of those really tough situations as a family that we had to make a decision to say, you know what? We have to let them go. There's nothing we can do. They won't, it's where we're at. And it was a tough decision because I am a big believer in being prudent with your money and doing the right things. And we had made good decisions, and that was an unexpected thing. But I can't say that it wasn't real. It was happening, right? It was the reality that we were living in. And so during that time, our family made the decision to file bankruptcy. But when sorry about that. But that decision came because I eventually got to the point where no matter how hard I tried to rationalize it, I couldn't. And I realized it was way bigger than me. I didn't know what to do because that was the last thing that I would ever have thought of doing. And then I went into spirit and I surrendered. And I said, God, you have to do what you do here because I am at a loss. I have no idea what to do right now. And the minute I made that decision, everything started falling into place. Everything started working itself out, and the right people showed up, and it was a freeing experience. See, that's what you get when you surrender into spirit, is you get that sense of freedom. Because you now don't have to be the doer, right? You can release the need to be the doer and allow God to do what God does. And so, of course, me being me, right, we talked about a little bit of my quirky personality traits. Me being me said, okay, so now we've done this, right? I've accepted it. I feel okay with it. But now I need to figure out how the heck I'm going to get myself and my family a house again. And I can't say that there wasn't a little piece of me that I had a piece of me that felt like a failure. Like I felt like, and for those of you who don't know, I'm the sole provider for our family financially. And so it was all on my shoulders. And I thought, I have to figure this out. Like, this has to happen. I cannot wait 7 years to own a house again and to put roots somewhere for my kids. And so it was a tough time. And during that time, I remember that the answers were, again, all within. And so I let myself just sit in it for many months, just trying to, there was probably a part of me that was rationalizing it. There was definitely a part of me that was trying to make something happen and trying to control it, right? Because I told you that's still part of me. Like, I was still going to go out there and try and figure this out. And it's no different than probably many of you out there. I mean, you're trying to get a relationship. I mean, there are people out there that are on every single relationship website. They're downloading them on their app, and they're swiping right, like on an ongoing basis, right? It is happening. It's part of what we do because we think, okay, if I'm on these sites and I'm looking for that perfect person and they're looking for me, it's all going to happen. But see, the truth is, it doesn't happen until we're ready for it to happen. It doesn't happen until we come together and we're both in alignment on the same level. And where I saw that happen, and Kat gave me permission to tell her story, but last night I was at dinner with her. And as we were at dinner, she was telling me the story of how she even got to Seaside. And it was the most amazing story. I'm like, girl, you have to be telling this story. It's a phenomenal story. And what happened was she was working in a job she didn't like. And as she came here to actually do her marketing job, to try and build a relationship with Seaside for her other job, she ran into Joanne and then Christian. And of course, they asked her if she wanted to have the communication specialist position was open. They sat down, they talked about it, they interviewed, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, I'm really not looking for a job right now. You see, she wasn't ready. And so they said, okay, that's a bummer. We love you, but okay, we get it. And so a month later, she had just gotten back from Costa Rica, and she had spent a couple weeks, or no, it was Cuba. See, I love Costa Rica, so I instantly go there. And Cali's there, so. Cuba, she had just gone back from Cuba, and she said as she got back, it was within like a day or two, that she started to feel that stress again, and that just not good, didn't love her job, things weren't right. And she's like, life has to be better than this, right? I have to be able to find something that is so much more in alignment with me. And she instantly reached out to Christian, and sure enough, the position still hadn't been filled, and she was able to come back and interview for it, and he was like, it's yours. And so I say that story because to me, it shows again the power of when we are in that oneness, right? When we're searching with Spirit to find exactly what we're looking for, it takes what I am seeking to seek me too. And I have to be open and receptive. And that's what Kat was. It was the first time she wasn't ready. So we were seeking her. She just didn't know it yet. And we, our energy was probably creating some of that in her life, just getting her ready. But when she became to the point that she was in alignment with us, it was right on. So there's a quote by Mark Nepo, and he says, every disturbance, whether resolved or not, is making space for an inner engagement. And I love that. Because I feel like that story that I just described of Kat is that inner engagement, right? She had to feel that sense of peace when she was in out of the country, and then come back and feel the chaos, and then she had that inner engagement within herself to make that come alive. So when I take you back to my story of finding a house, it was so cool. It was really, really cool. At least I think it was a really, really cool demonstration from Spirit because, again, I told you I went within. And I just allowed the process to happen. And I said, I don't know how this is going to happen, God, but I have to surrender. It was another one where it was so big that I just knew that Spirit had it for me. And it wasn't even within 24 hours that my husband was talking to his parents, and his parents were like, well, if you guys want to move back, we've got this sum of money, and we're more than happy to just give it to you. And we were like, wait, what? Like, seriously? And it was a significant amount of money. And we knew the type of loan we were going to have to do, because we couldn't do a conventional loan, was going to require a big deposit, big down payment. And so we're like, okay, well, we've got a good amount saved up. And I called my mom and I said, my mom has always said that she has this idea that she's giving us our inheritance before she dies. I don't know, I like it, it worked. But, so she had a set amount that all 3 kids were gonna get, but it was only, she's a caveat, it's her generation. She loved, having rules around things. So she's like, it's only you can use it for a house, that's it. Well, up until now, I had never needed a house. Like, I already had one when she made this rule up. So I'm like, well, maybe my mom said I could, maybe she'd be willing to give it to me. And I called her up and she was like, sure, I'll give it to you. Now, it didn't go that easy because it's my mom, but overall, she let me have it. So literally within like a week time frame for me surrendering, we knew we had enough to be able to go and purchase a house. And we got back here and we were able to do it. So again, the whole rule, again, it's that framework of, 7 years, you're going to have to wait. And no, it doesn't have to be like that. I had no idea. I couldn't have thought of how this was all going to come together. It's consciousness. It's our energy. It's who we are. And we are in alignment with Spirit 24/7. As long as we step into that, it always shows up. Wayne Dyer in the movie The Shift says, let yourself be lived by it rather than it taking over you. Right? So I just want to end with really going within and looking at your life. And I challenge you to say, where can I surrender? What is so big right now in my life that I can't see, the hills through the trees? And so I know that Spirit, something greater, something bigger, something more dynamic than I am, will have me, will hold me, will embrace me, will take me there. And I'm just going to say, God, you've got it. Or Spirit or universe or whatever you want to call that infinite presence. That's my challenge for you this week. And I know that when you do it, you guys are going to feel amazing. And so it is. So I'm going to invite Mojo Jackson back up so that I can move us into prayer. So if you all would like to close your eyes. And so as I just breathe in this energy, this life form that we call universe, that we call Spirit, this God essence, I know that this presence is divine. It is filled in this moment through each and every one of us. I know that this presence is omnipotent. It is in everything as everything. I know that my energy with it is so connected as one beautiful light of love and peace and joy and abundance. I claim in this moment that I am one with this essence, and that each and every person in this space has come here tonight is that essence of love and abundance and prosperity and divine wisdom. And so I know that as we move into this week, that we move into it with such a heart filled with surrender, knowing that Spirit is right here with us, moving and having its being in this space, and that there is nothing that we need to do other than allow it to flow, allow God to do God's work. I claim in this moment that we have any thoughts in our minds and in our hearts of anything less than wholeness, less than perfection, less than peace. I know that it cannot be the truth, and it just is allowed to come into this space and be released into the oneness, because it is not the essence of God and of us. I know that we are whole, we are love, we are present in truth with a capital T. And so I just surrender into this knowing that life is good. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you to come out and share your souls today. Grateful to be able to share my heart and love for each and every one of you. And I just release these words into law. And so it is.
always looking out ahead of me. My hindsight's 20/20. Always dreaming of a bigger version of the man I may someday be. Always finding out the hard way. It's just be too slow. So always take a stand, hold on. But there's a lot that you got to let go, 'cause there ain't no guarantee. No, there ain't no guarantee. That wouldn't bother me if I could only stop and see what's right in front of me. The world that I've been chasing is right below my feet. On time's got me racing some other me. If I could put it in a bottle and send it out to sea, maybe I'd stop chasing something that's right in front of me. I'm always finding out the hard way when you just be too slow. Always taking a stand, you're on display. But some days you got to lay low, 'cause there ain't no guarantee. No, there ain't no enemy. And I wouldn't fall and bleed if I could only stop and see what's right in front of me. The world that I've been chasing is right below my feet. When time's got me racing some other me. If I could put it in a bottle and send it out to sea, maybe I'd stop chasing something that's right in front of me. 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 You know when you can hear it. Right in front of me. You can feel it. Right. You know when you can let it go. Right. You know when you can steer it. It's time for you to know it. Right. It's time for you to own it. So let go and just show it to your brother. You owe it to your mother. If I could put it in a bottle and send it out to sea, maybe I'd stop chasing something that's right in front of me.
TJ Moss and Jackson Price. Woo-hoo! Beautiful. Thank you. Right in front of me. That's nice. Wow. What did you think of that? Kimjera. I told you she had this natural flow about her, right? She demonstrated that, how it works in her life, and also in your speaking skills. We're so proud to have you here at Seaside. Thank you. It was really beautiful. Yes. So now this is the time of our service where we give back to our spiritual community. I invite our ushers to come forward. Practitioner Mr. and Mrs. Ginny and Dennis Mill, they have been of service here at Seaside for over 20 years, and I truly appreciate you. So thank you very much. So knowing that your gift today allows our spiritual center to grow and expand, supporting this building and supporting us as a community in the consciousness expansion. So I invite you to take your gift and to put it over your heart and to close your eyes and go within with me. And just recognizing that infinite abundance of spirit that's always expressing itself as itself and through itself in each and every person's life here. Knowing that doors of opportunities are always opening up for each and every person. Knowing that your gifts are multiplied abundantly and are brought back into your life with ease and with grace. And I'm grateful for this moment together. I'm grateful for this divine abundance and the blessings that you bestow upon Seaside. And so it is. Oh, can we have the prosperity blessing? Together we say, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. I love being up here with all the girls. That's great. So now what we're going to do is our circle of love prayer, where we actually put what we believe to work. And if there's anyone in your life that's having a difficulty, or they may be sick, or just having prosperity challenges, I invite you to raise your hand. And as you call out their name, I'll ring a bell, and we'll put their name into the consciousness of this room, and then I will do a spiritual mind treatment for you. I want to put my girlfriend, Deborah Reeves, into the circle of love. That's how beautiful it is that we keep the loved ones in our mind and we hold them in that consciousness of healing, in that consciousness of light. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within. As I recognize and know the one power and the one presence of God that is eternal. There's no beginning and there's no end. It is the essence of all of life. For I know that the circle of love is complete. It binds all together with cords of everlasting love. I cannot depart from its presence nor wander from its care. The circle of love is complete within the consciousness of my mind, is complete within the consciousness of this room. For I am grateful for each person that we hold high in the light of healing. It is done in the mind of God. There's a perfect God, a perfect man, a perfect being, a perfect wholeness. I know that each and every person is God maintained and God sustained. It is that essence of love and light that wraps the loving arms around each and every loved one. For I'm grateful for this divine healing, for it is already done in the mind of God. All needs are already met right here and right now. And I'm grateful for this deep knowing and the wholeness that expresses itself as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is done, and it is so, and so it is. Before I forget, I just want to give thanks to a couple of people here. I would like to thank Ed Reeves and Steve Grant. Thank you very much. It's always a challenge lately here in the beginning. Also, Tim Griffith on video. Thank you, Tim. Yes, our family and friends and online streaming appreciate you. Bob Greer for holding highlight in the back. Thank you, our practitioner. And we have TJ Moss. Thank you very much. And and Jackson Price. Thank you. Rebecca B., thank you for standing in at the last minute. And Kimjera, you are a gift to us here at Seaside. Thank you so much. And also, I'm going to introduce her later. She's super special. But before I do that, you're going to like her. So I had a request this month that some people want to hear about prosperity. So in the first 3 weeks in July, I will be talking about prosperity. That was a movie, but it's not happening. I will be teaching a basic creative media skills. That will be on July 6th from 7 to 8:30. So if there's something within you that's wanting to learn how to brand yourself and learn how to do MailChimp and PowerPoint presentation skills, wanting to join me for 4 weeks, we're going to have a lot of creative fun. Also, this Friday is a very special evening, James Van Prague. If you've never seen James Van Prague, you've got to come. I'm not sure if there's still tickets. There may be, but this is such a powerful evening. Every time I leave that evening with James Van Prague, I'm always like, okay, forgive everyone and just love everyone. You know, it's like, okay, that's late. We're all even. I love everyone. And then every Monday night is a spiritual practice of the bowls, the deep sound meditation, which is really a beautiful practice. So join them. If you haven't done it, try it. It's truly a treat. And now we have a special girl, and Kimjera has gave her a little bit of her journey of coming to Seaside. Her name is Kat, and she's a communication specialist. And what I like about Kat is she really is the bridge between the millenniums and the baby boomers. And she has this game that we're going to play, and there's a lot of things in this game that I don't know how to do, and I'm going to have to be fed because I'm a baby boomer. So she's going to tell you what's going to happen. So if you don't know how to do any of this, you know, step up to the plate and get on the bridge between the millennials and baby boomers and learn how to post to Facebook and Instagram and all the fun things that she has to offer us.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little shorter than Rebecca. Okay. So I have this wonderful game. It's called The 31 Days to Joyous Abundance, and it's based off of Reverend Christian's book, Joyous Abundance Journal. So for the next 31 days, we're going to be using July, and we're going to be posting them on Facebook and Instagram. So step 1, follow us on Instagram at Seaside Center. Step 2, like us on Facebook at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, if you haven't liked our page already. We're going to repost this challenge. You're going to use the hashtag JoyousAbundance31. Hashtag is that little thing in front of it that looks like a number sign. Hashtag. Tag 3 friends so that they can join us, and the 3 winners will be chosen by our conscientious judges based on following all the steps above, posting and following our challenge for 31 days, and then posting the images that resonate with us. This is supposed to be fun, guys, because you guys look a little stressed out. It's fun. It's a game. It's a game, okay? So join us for 31 days so that you can win the 3 prizes, or you can just join in whenever you want. It's a game. So the worst thing that's going to happen is that you don't win the 3 books, okay? At the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We're here to spread joy, spread light, spread love, and that's all this is doing, so don't be stressed out. Send me an email if you have any questions. I'm here all the time, communications@seasidecenter.org. You can always go to our website, www.seasidecenter.org. You can send me an email. On Sunday, I said to send me texts, but then I changed my mind immediately after. These are going to be 31 days. These are the 31 words I broke it down to. This is an example. That's me. So this would be a post that I would post, right? So day 1 would be July 1st, and it would be hashtag JoyousAbundance31, and then you would post a picture. It's really fun. It's really easy. I'll be in the back, and I'm going to be outside these doors, And there's steps. I broke it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that you guys can take it home and have it and keep it for the whole month. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Kat. Yeah. Well, I downloaded the Instagram on my phone. I just don't know how to do it. And I also have the first slide ready to go. So anyways, eventually I'll learn. I'm willing to learn. So why don't we stand up for the universal blessing? Together we say, may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Our closing song.
Let your hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Let your hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Peace will change 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 our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world.
May you walk in peace, Seaside. There are shortbread cookies dipped in chocolate in the family room. And make sure you say hi to Kimjera and all the girls and Rebecca and Kat and Bob Greer. If you want prayer out in the hallway, they'll meet you there at the prayer room, okay? Thank you. Great job.
I think it's the same key. Same. Well, all right. I'm gonna unplug and it's gonna pop. Oh no, it's